Hello everyone! Welcome back to the Lift Parts Warehouse YouTube channel. Today we're talking about something that causes more forklift injuries than almost anything else: tipovers. Forklift tipovers are the deadliest kind of accident in material handling. According to OSHA, tipovers account for 24% of all forklift accidents and 42% of all recorded injuries. In other words, when a forklift rolls over, the operator is much more likely to get seriously hurt. The Forklift Stability Triangle defines that safe zone. Understanding this triangle is the key to keeping the forklift upright and in control. So let's break down exactly what the Stability Triangle is and what the 3 points that make it up are. The Stability Triangle and the center of gravity. Every counterbalanced forklift has a stability triangle. 3 support points form it. Point A, the pivot pin at the center of the rear axle. Point B, the left front wheel. Point C, the right front wheel. When you connect A, B, and C, you get the forklift's base of stability, or stability triangle, we say. Inside this triangle lies the truck's center of gravity. A center of gravity is a point of balance. It is the imaginary point where the forklift's entire weight can be considered to be concentrated. So, how does it play out? Let me explain how it works. Can you see 3 red dots here? This red dot shows the position of the center of gravity, COG, under different conditions. The position of these dots defines whether the forklift is stable or not. Let me explain. Condition 1, forklift without load, highly stable forklift. Point 1, red dot, COG, at the bottom near the base. When a forklift isn't carrying any load, its COG lies at the bottom near the base of the forklift, so near the stability triangle. In this condition, the forklift is highly stable. Condition 2, forklift with load, stable forklift. Point 2, red dot, COG, above the forklift base but lies within the triangle. When a forklift carries a load, we will consider the combined COG, because load will have its own COG and forklift will have its own COG. So when a forklift carries a load, its combined COG shifts from its original position, which is point 1, to a higher position, above the base of the forklift, point 2. Now, the new position of COG, red dot, defines whether the forklift is stable or not. If the operator carries a manufacturer's rated capacity load, which is placed stable on the forks, the COG will lie inside the range of stability triangle. Line of action is a straight imaginary/reference line which is drawn to check whether the COG, red dot, lies inside the triangle or not. If it intersects or passes inside the triangle, the forklift will be stable. See the position of red dot at point 2. Condition 3, forklift with unstable load, unstable forklift. Point 3, red dot above the forklift base but lies outside the triangle. So, when a forklift carries an unstable load that is not placed properly on the forks, see here, load is displaced under this condition, or carries a load higher than the manufacturer's rated capacity, the COG, red dot, moves further, outside the stability triangle. Similarly, if you draw an imaginary/reference line from the red dot to the forklift base, the line will not intersect or pass through the stability triangle. If it is outside the triangle, the forklift will become unstable and will likely tip over. This is a basic concept of how and why forklift tipovers happen. But here's the truth. Most of these tipovers don't just happen because of the load. They happen because of careless driving and poor handling, such as taking turns too fast, driving on uneven ground, exceeding rated capacity, or carrying an unbalanced load. Every one of these mistakes shifts the forklift's center of gravity, and once that center of gravity moves outside its safe zone, the truck tips over. In short, the 3-point suspension defines the triangle, but the operator's handling of the load and the truck determines where the center of gravity falls. Once that point leaves the triangle, rollover is inevitable. Now, what happens if the forklift moves with a load? When a forklift is in motion, the simple stability rules change due to motion and force. We still use the ideas of COG, the line of action, and the stability triangle, but now we have to deal with forces that push and pull the weight around. When a forklift is moving with a load, the 2 types of stability we measure: longitudinal stability, forklift is moving forward or backward. When a forklift is moving forward or backward, longitudinal forces come into action, especially during braking and starting. These longitudinal forces help stabilize the forklift against tip over to the front wheels or the rear axle. For example, stopping, braking. When the forklift brakes suddenly, the entire load's weight surges forward. This is called weight transfer. It pushes the combined center of gravity, CG, forward. If the CGs moves past the front wheels, the forklift tips forward. Starting, accelerating. When the forklift accelerates quickly, the weight shifts back, toward the rear counterweight. This is usually safer, but if you're on a ramp or without a heavy load, you could potentially tip backward. Simple idea. Sudden movements cause the weight to momentarily shift, making the machine less stable in that direction. Lateral stability. Forklift is taking side turns. When a forklift is taking side turn or moving in a circular track, the lateral forces come into action. This is same like centripetal and centrifugal forces. For example, turning, cornering. When the forklift turns, a force called centrifugal force acts on the load. This is an outward force that pushes load and forklift outward. Thus, this force pushes the combined CG outward toward the tipping axis, the outer wheels. The higher and faster the turn, the stronger this outward force is, and the more likely the CGs move outside the stability triangle, causing a rollover. These moving conditions are called dynamic stability, meaning stability under movement, not just when sitting still. This is why operators are trained to slow down before turning and keep the load low when traveling. Hope you understand the stability triangle and what conditions can increase the risk of forklift tipovers or rollovers. Practical tips and preventive measures. Now, let's understand the preventive measures that we can take to avoid these forklift rollovers. Always try to keep the center of gravity inside the stability triangle. That means traveling with the forks low, carrying only balanced loads, and staying within the truck's rated capacity at the proper load center. Corners, slopes, and uneven ground are where operators get in trouble, so slow down, keep movement smooth, and never jerk the controls. That's it for today's deep dive into the forklift stability triangle. Understanding how your forklift balances, how the center of gravity shifts, and how loads affect stability isn't just theory. It's the difference between staying upright and tipping over. If you're experiencing stability issues or your forklift needs parts like tires, suspension components, or load attachments, check out liftpartswarehouse.com. We stock high-quality parts for all major forklift brands, so you can keep your trucks running safely and reliably. And of course, if you found this video helpful, hit the subscribe button, give it a like, and drop a comment if you've got questions or tips from the shop.